Thank you very much, Thomas. €15 million as a birthday gift. That's what I got last year on my 28th birthday from myself when our company Catena Media went public at a valuation of €200 million. But in spite of that, it wasn't the partying, it wasn't the newspapers, it wasn't even the money that moved me the most that day. It was a small yellow box filled with greetings, postcards, and love declarations from the people close to me, my friends and family that my girlfriend had gathered for me in secret and gave me that morning. It was those letters that gave me goosebumps. It was those letters that moved me to tears. And it was those letters that left me with a wonderful, warm feeling in my stomach. My name is Erik Bergman. I'm one of the two founders of Catena Media. And this is the story of how I went from a curious little boy to a cocky teenager with a money complex to a crazy rich 29-year-old who have realized that life, it's all about emotions. So the story starts with this little kid. He's running around everywhere and he's looking in trash cans. He's looking for gold. Well, not really gold. I was looking for soda cans because in Sweden, if you return a soda can to the store, you get 5 cents. So me and my brother, we did this all over town and we filled up our little playhouse in the garden with soda cans. It became our treasure chest. And by the end of the summer, we took all of them back to the store, and we got about €100. So I did what any reasonable 5-year-old would do. I spent it all on candy. And this was the first little minor step on my entrepreneurial journey. The first step that then led on to singing for neighbors, moving lawns, selling bread. And it was at the age of 10 or something that my brother had the genius idea. We were going to sell lottery tickets to the Swedish TV show Bingo Lotto. And we were going to do this on the Saturday market because that's where all the old ladies were, and those were the ones who were buying lottery tickets. So they were storming in like zombies, and we were standing there just waiting with our tickets in hand, and they came up to us and said, "Of course I'm going to buy a lottery ticket from you." And we were just cashing in. On a good Saturday, we could make €50. As a 10-year-old, that was a fortune. And this moved on for a couple of years, and then unfortunately, the TV show got out of fashion. But when I was 13 years old, my family moved, and I started a new school. And in this school, all my friends were new, and they just happened to be the richest kids in my city. It was the IT millionaire's twin sons. It was the car dealer's kid. It was the real estate guy's kid. And I was a very normal boy, so they were living in big fancy houses in the best neighborhoods. We were living in a small house on the countryside. They were driving Mercedes and BMWs. We had an old Opel. And I was always a part of the gang, but I always felt a little bit left outside. And it was probably because of comments like, "Hey, Erik, go home to your shitty little house," or "How can you drive around in that rusty old thing?" It was those comments that started to feed a monster inside of me. A monster that was craving attention and got a big money complex. But time went by, and when I was 17 years old, I found poker. I've always loved card games, and I've always loved math, and with poker, I found out that I love psychology. So I was starting playing poker day and night, every day. I was playing after school, I was playing in between classes, and I was playing during a lot of the classes too. And at the age of 18, I started making quite a lot of money from this. I made 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 euros a month as an 18-year-old. And this monster inside just wanted everyone to see that I had money. So I spent it all on champagne, on expensive clothes. I got a car, I got a fancy TV, and I was the first one of my friends to get my own apartment. Money became my identity. Money became who I was. But then I turned 19 and I stopped winning. I never started to lose, but I had an image to maintain, and with no money coming in, well, the bank account soon ran dry. So when I graduated school, I had to move back to my parents' house, and it was the heaviest steps I've ever took, because suddenly I was a failure. And worse than that, I had no identity anymore. Who was I if I didn't have any money? So I took a job, and I took my first salary of 1,500 euros and put it straight back into the poker account. I started playing and I started winning, and I was winning for a year before I stopped winning again. But this time, money wasn't as important to me anymore. This time, money wasn't my identity anymore. So I actually had saved some money up. And instead of putting it back into the poker account, I started my first company. So I called up my friend Emil and said, hey, we're going to start a business together. And he went, yeah, sure. So we did. And our first business idea was to print on the elastics of underwear. And you could write whatever you wanted. You could write single or I'm the king or basically anything. And this idea lasted for about 3 weeks. And we tried and actually print on them and realized printing on elastics, not so good. So we took that idea and we tossed it. So the next idea became to build a lunch guide of all the restaurants from my hometown Jönköping, list the lunches they had and sell ads around them. So we got the site up and running, and the site is actually still live today, but we still made €0 from it. So we kept going to the next project, and that's when we started doing bingo guides online. So we've heard that you could make money from that. So we started our own guide. We took the best ideas from all of the other ones around, and we built our site. And after 2 months of hard work, we made 0. So we kept on going to the next project, and to the next after that, and to the next after that. But a year later, we revisited this bingo site, and we actually checked this account, and we found, hey, we made €1,000. €1,000, it was the first money we made as a company. It was so amazing. It became the little spark that ignited the flame that became a big fire of motivation for us. So in 2009, we started working day and night with this. And in 2010, we made €1,000 a month. €1,000 a month was enough for us to feel like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So we took everything we owned, and we flew to Malta, because this is where the gaming company was. We were 22 years old. We had nothing to lose. And the plan was to get jobs. Well, we didn't. So instead, we lived on our savings, and we put all our attention into this. And 2011 turned out to be the funniest year I ever had. We were building stuff. We were creating. We were just playing with our creativity. We tried this. If it worked, then we did more. And we tried this. If it didn't, then it went into the bin. We had no meetings. We had no schedules. We had no budgets or anything to keep. We were just playing around, and we were doing great. We were making a lot more money, and we were having so much fun. But in 2012, we started to feel like, okay, what's next? What's a real company? This is more of a hobby, even though it's really profitable. We wanted to affect people's lives. We wanted to do something we could be recognized for. So that's when I got in contact with the guys behind Optimizer Invest. Those guys had just sold BetSafe to Betsson for over 60 million euros, and they were gods in my world. Not necessarily because of the money, but because the spirit that they managed to have around BetSafe. I knew people working for BetSafe, and they were all so proud to be there. They all enjoyed going to work, and they all talked about it. And I really wanted to learn how to do that. So in late 2012, we sold half our business to those guys, and we started what today is Catena Media. We took all our focus from all other projects, and we put it into casino. And we had never lost a dime in any month before, but now we hired 10 people in a couple of months. We started running red. Our bank account got thinner and thinner and thinner, and 9 months in, we were almost dry. Then we managed to turn it around. And for a couple of months, it looked really hopeful. Then we got into a legal dispute with our landlord. That cost us 100,000 euros, money that we didn't have. But somehow we managed to turn that around as well. And after that, it was just straight up. 2014, 2015, we were growing, we were making so much money, and it was just through the roof. In 2016, on the 11th of February, my birthday, we went public at the Swedish Stock Exchange at a valuation of 200 million euros. 15 million euros straight down this pocket. What would you do with 15 million euros? What would 15 million euros mean to you? I think it would mean a lot less than you could ever imagine. That's the irony with money. Because when I look back at this journey, I don't remember the money, I don't remember building the company, I remember the people. I remember the feeling of walking into the office and being faced by smiles, being faced by people who are happy to be there, who are proud to be a part of something that I helped to create. I remember going into the coffee room and talking to a woman who moved to Malta from another country and came there just for us, telling me that no one had believed in her before. She's thriving and she was so happy to be there. That's the kind of story that just gave me goosebumps. And I remember the tough times because, trust me, there were a lot of those. And I just needed support. And I had a girlfriend, she was there, and she made sure I ate, she made sure I slept, and she made sure that I had someone to talk to. If it wasn't for that, I would probably not be here today. So I want you to take a few things from this story. There are mainly 4 things that I would say is the essence of this. And the first thing, it is that the most important thing is just begin. Just do anything. It doesn't matter where you start. I was a curious little boy collecting soda cans. That's where my story started. The idea, it's not that important. Our first idea was honestly crap. Our second idea, not much better, but it kept us going. So from one idea led to the next, and that led to the next. So don't hold back just because you're waiting for the perfect idea. Thirdly, have fun. Because if you're not having fun, you will never be really good at anything. But if you are having fun, you will be good. Let happiness be the compass that guides you through life and guides you for your dreams. And fourthly, and by far the most importantly, remember the people around you. Remember the ones you love and care for, because without them, nothing is worth anything. Money's not going to change that. So go out there and chase your dreams. But make sure you have those there. Make sure you pay them the attention they deserve. My name is Erik Bergman. I'm one of the founders of Catena Media, and thank you very much for listening.